You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. It is Tuesday evening. I almost said Monday because we had Monday off yesterday. The Marlins have 2 days off this week. They're going to spoil me if they keep this up, although their bats took a lot of the game off tonight, and Jesus Luzardo finally had to pay the piper. I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. As I said, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. I want to thank you, as always, right away. Thank you for making us your first listen, your first watch every single day. We know you have choices, and we love it when you choose us. Thanks for making Locked On Marlins POSTCAST your first listen every day. We are free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And tonight's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Excuse me a second, guys. Sometimes your tongue feels like it's 4,000 pounds or it's just kind of in the way of everything, and that water kind of de-swells it a little bit. You take a look at that rundown up there. Rays whip Luzardo beat Marlins 9-5. Look, the Marlins ended up this game tonight. They ended up, believe it or not, they had the tying run at the plate in the bottom of the ninth inning with nobody out. They had the bases loaded, nobody out. The Rays had to bring in their closer, Pete Fairbanks, who now has pitched 11 scoreless innings in a row. But bases loaded, nobody out. The Marlins had a rally going. They had scored a couple of runs between the 8th and the 9th innings. And you end up with Bryan Cruz ahead in the count. Chased a nasty slider out of the zone to strike out. Would have been ball 4. Might have been a wild pitch had he not chased it. I mean, it was close. But who knows what would happen to the catcher on a pitch like that had he not swung. But then Jake Burger strikes out after fouling off a bunch of pitches. Pretty good at bat for Jake. First pitch, fastball right down the middle. Fat ball, it was. And Jake fouled it right back about 97, 98 miles an hour, right down the pipe. And Jake was unable to make solid contact with it. Those were always my favorite pitches to hit. My favorite pitches to hit were always fastballs down the middle on the first pitch. And you always got a fastball down the middle, at least I did, on the first. I always got a fastball down the middle on the first pitch. I wasn't a great hitter, but I could never catch up to that crazy heat. Once it got over 90, 93, 94, I couldn't catch up to it. I don't know how these guys are consistently hitting over the hundreds on the guns these days, and the hitters are hitting it. It just blows my mind how much better they are, how the game has evolved and just continues. I mean, they're going to be hitting 110-mile-an-hour heat before too long, and that's just insane. Pepio and his Stepio, Ryan Pepio, the Rays starter in this game, I mean, look, he's just didn't pitch really great, but he didn't pitch bad either. I guess you could say that about him. He had a tough start in this game, did Pepio. And obviously, when you're looking at Pepio starts the game, you think he's going to be out of there early. But nope, no such luck for the Marlins. In the bottom of the first, they scored 3 runs. And you're thinking, like, Luzardo's on the mound. They jump out to a 3-0 lead. And you're thinking, wow, this is going to be a great game for the Marlins, right? No. They never seem to work out the way that they start out, do they? Not always, right? So in the first inning for the Marlins, and you're thinking, hey, with Luzardo, and Luzardo had been great. You know what? Real quick on Luzardo. Let's hit that on Luzardo real quick before we get into that first inning, because Luzardo had been so good. He picked up the loss. He's 2-5 with a 5.30 ERA. In his previous outings, he had shut out the San Diego Padres for 6 innings. He had allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings at San Diego his last time out. So just a quality start last time out. Against Milwaukee the time before that, he got the 1-0 win, 8 innings, no runs, and 6 innings, no runs to start before that against the Mets. So 2 great starts, surrounded by the 2 starts before his 2 scoreless starts. He gave up 2 earned runs, both times in 6 innings and in 5 2/3. Then 0 and 6, 0 and 8, and 3 and 6. So nothing but quality starts all the way across the board, and he was cruising tonight. He was cruising. He was actually pitching pretty well, and he had not allowed any runs, no runs whatsoever until the fourth inning. And, you look at the way the game started, the top of the first inning for Luzardo. Diaz grounds out. They got a single and then another line out and a strikeout. They did hit the ball pretty hard. That line out was hit pretty hard. But then the Marlins put a 3 spot on the board, and you're thinking, hey, man, like I got Luzardo on the bump. Like he might have had a little bit of not a rocky first inning. The ball was hit hard twice, but so be it. You gave him a cushion here. Chisholm strikes out, but then De La Cruz crushes a home run straight away center field over a 400-footer. Berger reaches on an infield single to short. Then Bell triples. Berger scores. A couple of extra base hits on the game for Josh Bell, who's been way better since May 1st, without a doubt. Sanchez strikes out swinging. Then Lopez singles to left, and Bell scores. It's 3-0 Marlins at that point. Luzardo, top second. 1, 2, 3. Strikeout, ground out, ground out. Bottom of the second for the Marlins. They go 1, 2, 3. Top of the third. Bottom of the Rays go 1, 2, 3. Again, ground out, line out. That ball hit pretty hard, but, Luzardo's looking good. He's got a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the third, Berger singles to lead it off. They leave him there. 1, 2, 3 after that. Rays in the top of the fourth. Here's where it got a little bit crazy because Luzardo looked phenomenal until this point. A 4-pitch walk to Arozarena, and then Ramirez grounds into a fielder's choice. Arozarena's out at second. So 1 on and 1 out. 1 on, 1 out. And then all of a sudden, Isaac Paredes singles to left, Ramirez to second. Paredes had himself a good game. As a matter of fact, Isaac Paredes had himself 2 hits and 2 RBIs for Tampa Bay. And then Brandon Lowe, who had 5 RBIs, homers to right field, scores Ramirez, and Paredes makes it 3-3. Just like that, Rosario singles to left, Siri doubles to center, Rosario scores, and it's 4-3. Luzardo shell-shocked. Picking up that extra run there was huge after the home run to give up the hit right away and then the double right after that. Man, a wild pitch in between by Luzardo. He just melted down, fell apart. Marlins bottom of the fourth, of course, as the Marlins do. They go 1, 2, 3. Gordon strikes out. Anderson strikes out, both swinging. Fortes lines to right. And then in the fifth inning, it got much, much worse for Jesus Luzardo as Jackson grounds out. Diaz singles to center. Arozarena walked in the middle of that first rally, too, to start off the first rally for Tampa Bay. So Diaz goes to second. Ramirez, an infield single to shortstop to load the bases. That was a killer right there, a backbreaker. If that one was hit a little bit harder in a little bit of a different spot, could have even been a double play. You don't even know what could have happened there. But Paredes singles, and then Arozarena and Diaz score. Ramirez to second makes it 6-3. Lowe doubles to center. Paredes and Ramirez score. It's 8-3, and then Rosario singles to center, scoring Lowe. It's 9-3. By the time DeLuca grounds out to third, there's 5 runs on 5 hits, and Luzardo is literally, he's done. I mean, they didn't yank him during that inning, but they did. I'm sorry. They brought in Cronin to face Rosario, and Rosario got that hit, and the run was charged to Luzardo. That's right. That was where they brought in Cronin. So they might have left him in a little bit too long, but the way he had been pitching and the quality starts he was giving you, it's a shame to see what happened to him tonight. And you just melted down, fell apart. And, of course, what do you want to do when the other team comes out and hangs a big number on you? You want to get at least something back. You want to show some fight. You want to get some guys on base. You want to do something. Nope. Marlins go 1, 2, 3. Pepio only allowed 1 hit after the first inning, which was unbelievable. And Sterner relieved him in the 7th inning, but he had only allowed 1 hit. In fact, he got he got the last 6 Marlins, the last 9, the last 12 Marlins in order. Pepio and his Stepio, hence my creative wordplay. Pepio and his Stepio. I think it's clever. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I mean, it only really matters what I think. 'Cause I'm the one doing it. Just kidding. But, yeah, 9-5 the final. They did load the bases in the 9th, and the Marlins were able to get some things going later in the game as far as scoring some runs. And we'll go through the box score on the other side. We'll talk about the lineup and what, every day in and day out we talk about this. And nothing ever seems to happen. But De La Cruz grounds into a fielder's choice to third base in the 7th inning. Gordon scores. Gordon, who had reached on an infield single to shortstop, and Anderson struck out swinging. Fortes reached on an infield single. Chisholm reached on a fielding error by Diaz, the first baseman, and Yeah, then De La Cruz grounds into the fielder's choice. Talk about a roundabout way to score a run. Then in the bottom of the 8th inning, Bell doubles to left after Sanchez grounds out to second, on which Bell went to third. Lopez hits a sac fly to right. That's Otto Lopez. Bell scores, right? Tampa Bay, top of the 9th, they don't score. Marlins, bottom of the 9th with Maton pitching for Tampa Bay. Anderson singles to left. Vitor Brujan hits for Fortes, singles to right. Anderson goes to second. Chisholm singles to right. Brujan to second. Anderson to third. The bases are loaded. Nobody scored, but the bases are loaded. Nobody out. And Tampa Bay goes to their bullpen. They bring in the closer, Pete Fairbanks, who had pitched 10 consecutive innings, not allowing an earned run. And he would make it 11. De La Cruz, Burger, and Bell taps out to the pitcher, and that's really giving him a lot of credit because it was a little tapper right out in front of the batter's box that Fairbanks had to race in to collect and toss to first. So the Rays have won something like 23 out of 26 games against the Marlins, or something absolutely absurd like that. I heard it on the telecast. We'll look into that number for you as well. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast right here, Locked On Sports Miami. Of course, you're listening as well, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on Apple Music, whether you're on iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you are listening from. Hey, my name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and I want to welcome you to your Locked On Marlins postcast. The day-by-dayers, you know who you are. I want to thank you for being here as well. I'm going to step aside real quick. Not really, but kind of. Pay a bill. Literally one bill, maybe more than one bill, but one commercial to read as we roll on with your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Tuesday. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. And oh, do I love when I get to tell you about my friends at FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA. The series starts Thursday, the NBA Finals. It's winner take all time in the NHL. The Panthers back in the Stanley Cup Finals. Will this year be the year they finally raise Lord Stanley's Cup? Well, one thing's for sure, your version of Lord Stanley's Cup could be right at FanDuel.com, because FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. That's right, new customers right now get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. That's FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Man, I get fired up talking about my boys at FanDuel. It's a lot of fun putting some action on the action. You know, we have Game Time here. We have FanDuel here. We have prize picks here with Locked On, and we're just getting it done as far as, you know, giving you the opportunities to get some action in on the action while it's happening. The Marlins lose 9-5 to the Rays, first of 2 in Miami at Lone Depot Park. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. You're here after every Marlins game, listening on your Spotify, Apple Music, on your iHeart, whatever, wherever you get your podcast, watching here on YouTube. Locked On Sports Miami. One thing I know you're doing is watching Locked On Sports Today. It's free, 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming that you're getting on Fox Sports, ESPN, and everywhere else. I'm just going to whisper. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Want to thank you once again for making your Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen every day. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right. Well, we told you about the scoring breakdown a little bit, you know, here on the show. You don't want to just kind of read the box scores and the breakdowns on a post-game show, but you want to give your thoughts on what happened, and you want to let everybody know what happened in the game. Look, the Marlins are 21-40. The Rays are 30-31. Marlins had the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning, bases loaded, nobody out, and they do not score a run. Bryan De La Cruz chases a slider that broke all the way down to Key Biscayne. Yeah, and it was way out of the strike zone. But easy for me to say, man. I used to chase those pitches too. It's so hard to lay off those tight sliders. That thing danced way out of there. But, you know, there's no way you can tell unless you pick up the spin on the ball. And when a dude's 6'4", whatever he is, 6'6", and he's throwing basically straight down off a large hill. Yeah, good luck picking up the rotation off that ball. It's so hard to hit a round ball with a round bat. And, we sit here and criticize big league hitters like it's nothing. But I'll tell you what, man, good luck. I mean, you're welcome to go try it. I've been on that field in a home run hitting contest. That's a lot of fun. I didn't choke. I did all right for myself. Anyway, the Marlins lose to the Rays 9-5. Chisholm goes 1 for 5. De La Cruz did all right. He had a home run in the first inning, 2 RBIs. And a run scored. Berger went 2 for 5 with a run scored. Bell 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. Pretty good day for him, although he tapped out to end the game. Cruel irony of Major League Baseball. Sanchez 0 for 4. Lopez 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Gordon 2 for 4 with a run scored. Anderson 1 for 4. Fortes 1 for 3. Brujan pinch hitting 1 for 1. Tampa Bay Diaz 2 for 5 with a run scored. Arozarena 1 for 1 with a run scored and 2 walks in the game for the left fielder. He's got a lot of box scores like that. Fielder's choices, not official at bats. And in the 2-hole, you want a lot of those and a lot of runs scored, and he gives you all that. Ramirez, the DH, 1 for 5 with 2 runs scored. Paredes, the third baseman, 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. Brandon Lowe, the second baseman, 5 RBIs, a home run, 2 runs scored, 2 hits overall. Rosario, the shortstop, 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored, also walked. Siri, the center fielder, 1 for 5 with an RBI. DeLuca and Jackson, the right fielder and the catcher, 0 for 5 and 0 for 4, respectively. For the Marlins, Luzardo got the loss, went 4 to third innings, 9 hits, 9 runs, all earned, 2 strikeouts, and a bunch of walks, 83 pitches. Actually, only 1 walk, 83 pitches for Luzardo. Cronin, Brazoban, Ramirez, and Scott came on afterwards. Cronin allowed the run, but it wasn't charged to him. On 1 hit and 2/3 of an inning. Brazoban 2 innings, 3 strikeouts, nothing else. Ramirez 1 inning, a hit, 2 strikeouts. Scott 1 inning, a hit, 2 strikeouts. So they only scored off Luzardo. Pepio for Tampa Bay, 6 innings, picked 6 hits. He retired the last 12 Marlins hitters he faced. 3 earned runs all in the first inning. 8 strikeouts on 89 pitches. Sterner, 2 innings, 3 hits, an earned run. Struck out 2. Metan, 3 hits and 9 pitches actually did not get an inning of work. In the 9th inning, just allowed those 3 hits to start the inning. Fairbanks, an inning pitch, 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs. I don't even see the time of game on here. I'm trying to give you as much information as I can here. Locked on Marlins postcast, but it is interesting when you think about it and when you look at what happens in these games. And the recap came out too. We'll hit that real quick before the break and before we turn the corner into tomorrow. We got some time here. You take a 3-0 lead with your ace on the mound. He's been pitching great into really good. He was amazing for 2 starts in a row. Last time out, a quality start, 3 innings, 6 runs against a good team in San Diego. And, this was just not his night and not their night when you're thinking about the Marlins. But where are we at here with where's the actual – let's see how much – there's in the game cast how many walks the pitchers had. It's crazy how you have to look in so many box scores to find what you're looking for. Yeah, Luzardo walked 2. Brazoban and Scott each walked 1, so only 4 walks issued by Marlins pitchers as opposed to 9 strikeouts. The Marlins struck out 12 times, 8 for Pepio, 2 for Sterner, 2 for Fairbanks. No walks again. This is like the 3rd time, maybe the 4th time in 2 weeks, but definitely the 3rd time in a week or 10 days. 2nd time in as many games, I believe, that the Marlins – let me look at their schedule because they had a game – this is definitely their 2nd game out of their last couple where they did not have a walk. And that's concerning, if not disturbing, to not have a walk in a Major League Baseball game. I mean, it's like, real. Yeah, I think it might have been, let's see. Let's take a look. On Sunday, it was 6-0. And here's the box, Rangers, pitchers. No walks. I was right. And let's see in the 7-0 game the day before. Good Lord, this is crazy. Texas beat them 7-0. There we go. Let me look one more time. Here we go. How many times did they walk in this game? 3. They walked 3 times on Saturday, no times on Sunday, and no times today. 2 games in a row without a walk. You're swinging at bad pitches. You're helping the opposing pitchers. I'm not going to rip them too badly. I made my point. And they know that. Believe me, they're hitting coaches all over. And they know that. But, man, wow, it boggles the mind, guys. It boggles the mind how in 2024 this is taking place with this team, and they're just not drawing walks. And I don't understand that. I just do not get that at all. No walks again tonight. And, wow, you're not going to win a ton of games. I mean, here's your lineup: 251, 248, 228, 247, 244. Hey, 297, 238, 193, 180, and even your pinch hitters at 259. So just a tough go right now for the Miami Marlins offensively. They had the bases loaded with nobody out in the ninth inning. They keep coming at you. They scratch, they claw. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first. Great start to the series. I had said it. You want to win these 2 against a 500 team at best in Tampa Bay. Your in-state neighbor. It's interleague. You want to win these 2, and you got the first place Cleveland Guardians coming in this weekend. Maybe you take 2 out of 3. And then you on the road, you got the Mets and the Nationals, the 2 teams here directly behind. So locking in starting today was crucial for this team, and they came out and got 3. Right away, they looked so good until the 4th inning when Luzardo fell apart. Luzardo just completely fell apart in the 4th inning. I already went through how it happened. You can go back and watch it if you're looking at YouTube and then catch up. Man, he just fell apart. A 4-pitch walk to start the inning, and the wheels came off. The wheels just came off for Luzardo today. It happens. You wish it didn't, but it did, and that's that. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. We're going to wrap it up in just a minute. Look ahead to tomorrow with Braxton Garrett on the bump for the Marlins and the trade deadline coming closer. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Locked On Sports, your team every day. Passion, drive, patience. A lot of patience as a Marlins fan this year. It's the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find everything that you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. That would be me, a U.S. customer. I hope you guys are doing okay watching right now. Wherever you're watching from, you're Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Maybe a little too much headroom here, top of the shot. But I'm kind of liking it. Ordered the chair. Chair's not been staying up lately. There you have it. Maybe they make Blue Chew for chairs. I don't know. Anyway, bad joke here on your Locked On Marlins postcast. But yeah, 9-5. They had the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth inning, guys, and they had no chance to win the game. You could just tell when Fairbanks came in. That dude's a monster. He looks like he's 10 feet tall out there. He's pitching off that high mound, and you're digging in, and that slider's biting off. It's like that right-handed version of a left-handed Randy Johnson old school slider where he's just got so much torque and so much whip action on that thing. His fastball is 97, 98 only these days, right? But that slider just, boom, right off the table before you even pick up the spin. Bases loaded in the ninth. 9-5's the score. You're thinking, hey, it's interesting here. You got the time run to the plate. And anytime you get the time run to the plate, you'll take that, right? But nope. De La Cruz chases the slider way out of the zone. Berger fouls off a bunch of tough sliders. Gets blown away by a dead red fastball. First pitch he fouled off on the opening pitch of the at-bat was right on that thing and fouled it straight back. Couldn't catch up to it after all those sliders. He went down on strikes, and then Josh Bell taps out in front of the mound after a day that saw him collect a couple of extra base hits, an RBI, and a couple of runs scored. The Marlins' first baseman hitting a lot better, but you couldn't have hit any worse than what he was doing. Locked On Sports has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on the Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you, and you, and you, and you. 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. As always, want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. There's a lot less of me than the last time you saw me on TV in the Miami market. About 40 pounds less, as a matter of fact. But been covering South Florida sports for a long time, man. Went to the University of Miami, class of 96. Covered the Hardaway Morning Heat, through to the Shaq Wade Heat, the Heatles, all the way through with the Marlins, the 97 team, the 03 team, the playoff team. It just is it's a lot of fun being here with you. Locked On Marlins with the postcast, of course, tomorrow. They take on the Tampa Bay Rays again. And that game will be first pitch 6:40 p.m. at Lone Depot Stadium, the hallowed grounds of the old Orange Bowl, the OB. There we go. I just need to sit up straight. There's not as much headroom anymore, and the chair's fixed. So I want to thank you, Day by Dayers, for being here, too. It's a rough go if you're a fan of a team that's losing a lot more than they're winning, but it's a fun team as far as losing teams go. They'll make you mad. Case in point, no walks for 2 consecutive games, which in Major League Baseball or at any level of baseball is absolutely absurd because it doesn't happen unless you force it to happen. You're swinging at a lot of bad pitches is what you're doing to make that happen. Pepio, they got to him for 3 runs in the bottom of the first. You got your ace Luzardo on the mound, and in the 4th inning, he falls apart. 4th and 5th innings, he gives up 9 runs combined. Bullpen does their job again. They've been fantastic lately. But Luzardo got crushed, and when Luzardo gets crushed, they're just going to be in trouble. Now you got Braxton Garrett, and the question is, with Eminem's new song out, Houdini, it makes me think of, will the real Braxton Garrett please stand up? I repeat, will the real Braxton Garrett please stand up? Braxton Garrett, just so you know, let me see where we at here. Braxton Garrett is, and I got the recap for you here, and I'm just gonna give the recap one more time. Braxton Garrett has been up and down, and it's like the South Florida weather in the summer, man. Up and down. You never know what you're going to get day in and day out with Garrett. He was on the injured list this season. Where he at, though? Braxton Garrett. He is right here. Braxton Garrett, in his last 7 days, his ERA is 1.8 because he pitched 5 innings of 1 earned run baseball on 6 hits and a 9-1 win over San Diego last time out. His time before that, 9 innings. He's going the distance. He's going the distance. Anyway, he went the distance against the Diamondbacks in a 3-0 win in a complete game victory, 4 hits and 6 strikeouts without a walk. Will the real Braxton Garrett please stand up? And he will face for the Tampa Bay Rays, who's pitching tomorrow for the Rays. It bees, and he that is, Zach Eflin will pitch tomorrow. Eflin's 3-4 with a 4.12. Garrett's 2-0 with a 4.56 ERA. Man, I can't believe we have another show just about in the books already. But before we bounce on out of here, I want to give you the recap of this game because that's what you deserve. The Marlins and the Rays. Here we go. One last thing for you before we bounce on out of here and let you know that we'll be back tomorrow right after the game, which I guess we just did. So it says Brandon Lowe slugs 3-run home run, drives in 5 runs as the Rays beat the Marlins 9-5. He had 3-run homer, a double, drove in 5 runs. We've told you all this already. We're just recapping for you. Randy Arozarena, Tampa Bay outfielder, reached base 5 times in the 2-hole, 2 walks, hit by pitches twice, and a single in the 6th inning. He was hit on the bill of the helmet by a 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Brazaban. He went to first base, and he was fine. Ahmed Rosario had 3 hits for Tampa Bay. Isaac Paredes had 2 hits and 2 RBI. And Yandy Diaz added a double and a single for the Rays, who have won 22 of 25 against the Marlins since the start of 2019. 22 of 25, one major league team against another. That's almost as absurd as not having drawn a walk for 2 consecutive games. Wait, yeah, both those distinctions belong to your Miami Marlins. Anyway, Ryan Pepio, Tampa Bay starter, allowed 3 runs in the 1st inning, and then he held Miami scoreless for the remainder of his outing. He's 4-2. He gave up 5 hits, struck out in 6 innings, struck out 8. and he retired the final 12 hitters that he faced of the Miami Marlins. The Rays broke it open with a 5-run outburst in the fifth. 2-run single from Paredes made it 6-3. Brandon Lowe followed with a 2-run double, and Luzardo was gone. Rosario greeted Cronin with an RBI single, and that put a cap on the bow on the cherry on the sundae, whatever. Anyway, the Marlins got to 9-5. They scored 2 in the 7th and 8th innings, 1 in each inning. Pete Fairbanks, though, comes in bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, nobody outs. Strikes out De La Cruz, strikes out Berger, gets Bell to tap out right in front of the mound toward the first base side. That was after Phil Maton had back-to-back singles by Anderson, Bruján, and Josh Chisholm. But not to beat tonight for the Marlins. They had the tying run at the dish against Fairbanks, couldn't get anything done there. Luzardo falls to 2-3, 9 runs, 9 hits, 4 2/3, walked 2, struck out 2, and they snapped. The Marlins did an 18-inning scoreless streak with De La Cruz's solo homer in the first. They were shut out their last 2 games. They haven't walked in 2 games, and yeah, it's been tough, man. Christian Bethancourt is back from the bereavement list. Johnny Paredes, the catcher, optioned back to AAA Jacksonville. Welcome back, Christian Bethancourt. It says here the Rays haven't announced the starter for tomorrow. I had it as Zach Eflin. We shall see. But shan't we see about most things day in and day out? We got a bunch of people watching here tonight. Appreciate you very much watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. They had the tying run at the plate in the bottom of the 9th. They're always going to find a way to make things interesting or drive you crazy in the process. The Marlins lose 9-5 to the Rays tonight. Again, one more time. They have dropped 22 out of 25 games to their in-state neighbor since 2019. I repeat, 22 of 25 they have dropped, and that includes tonight. They will try to avoid making it 23 of 26 tomorrow when they host the Rays again, and it'll be a 6:40 first pitch. Braxton Garrett, Zach Eflin, the 2 pitchers. Until then, I want to remind you, as always, Miami Marlins fans, to keep your game tight and your mind right. Thank you so much for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every single day, and thank you to eBay Motors for being our title sponsor tonight. We love having you here every day, and we love telling you about the great companies who sponsor us with Locked On Sports, your team, every day. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Marlins fans. Make it a great night.